So.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you and welcome to this YouTube episode of our privilege. It's a privilege for me to introduce Rhys of Direct Connect Logistics, and we're going to have a nice episode of a bit more about Rhys's journey into the haulage world and how he started to sort of where he is now, and then go through some of the sort of the trials and tribulations of how he got to where he is. 11 years ago, I think it was 11 years ago you started?
11 years, I remember your phone call.
Yes, that's right. So,
and yep, promising me, I think it was a 1 month free trial if I purchased it in advance.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it. So always to try and tempt you the offer. But Rhys, just take us back to the beginning. Let's go right back. Let's go back to 11 years ago. What gave you the idea to start a haulage business? And what was you doing before?
Well, I run an air conditioning business, and as part of this, I actually bought a haulage firm.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see that they didn't know what was their USP.
Mm-hmm.
So after several months of running this business, I stumbled across Haulage Exchange. And I thought it was absolutely brilliant. The concept of not having to service a customer as such, but by utilising your fleet to get the most out of the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
So then you can actually say, yes, I can have a backload. I'm not having to panic and ponder about the next vehicle that's in Sheffield or Manchester. Yeah. It's about development.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, my first business went into liquidation during the wonderful 2010s. And after a couple of years, I decided to set up again.
Okay.
So
was that Direct Connect Logistics then?
That was Direct Connect Logistics, and I set it up, and I thought, well, how am I going to set off like at a relatively fast pace to be able to gain a number of customers fairly quickly and people that I can trust. So we started off with 2 vehicles.
Yeah. What did you start with?
2 vehicles.
2 7.5.
2 7.5 tons,
right?
And ironically, one was a flatbed
because
I couldn't get 2 curtain siders at the time. And we set up from day one, and we said, how do we get a job? And I say thanks to you. You helped us through. You showed us how to do the original parts of it. And then over the next days, weeks, months, we developed the systems. We learned. We guessed what prices we had to charge. We set up from there. And through our journey, we met great customers, people that we're still working for today. And we have developed and grown with them and created what we now have, which is 18 HGVs.
Wow, 18 now.
18.
And I believe you are our bronze haulier of the year for our 25th year anniversary. So again,
thank you.
Hard work and graft, and it's well deserved.
I was very, very touched to do that.
Well, it's well deserved. I think you've got over 6,000 feedbacks. You've got so many reviews from other members and hauliers, all sort of singing your praises on the jobs you've been doing.
Yeah.
But can we just go back? I mean, just if we, I know it's a long time ago, 11 years, but when you first started and you had those 2 7.5 tonners, and you had the vehicles already.
Yeah.
Did you know about Haulage Exchange then? Or was it later on?
I had been made aware of it, and I knew that when I set up my business, I knew Haulage Exchange was going to be a huge part of that, an integral part of it, because when you're going out looking for your own customers, it takes time, it takes resource.
Yes.
And whilst you may get a premium rate by having a customer, you can't really run a business when you've got one vehicle. Whereas Haulage Exchange allows you to do that. And it says, actually, yes, I can run a relatively small fleet. I can develop into other areas. So now, in theory, we could now supply for 8,500 other members. So we have built up enough residual support.
And when you did start, I mean, did you have any of your own work lined up at all?
No, none at all. None at all. And even today, we've only got 3 or 4 direct customers. Everybody else is on the Haulage Exchange.
So would you say like majority comes off HX?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. 95, 98%.
Oh, wow.
That big. Yeah.
And did you feel it was a big investment to join, or how did you feel? Because it's not a monthly membership, right?
No.
It's
When you start off and you look at the costs, you go, oh my God, that's an awful lot of investment.
Yeah.
The first thing you always do is take a large gulp, thinking you've just paid out X amount to an O licensing company, you've paid out for your insurance, you've paid out for everything else. But once you actually see the benefits that you get from the system, the benefits are so significant that actually it's a very small part of the percentage of what you have. And interestingly, the larger you get, the smaller the costs become, because you actually can build up a really good market with what you have. Now, a few years ago, we took out the drivers having the CX app.
Okay.
And that absolutely revolutionized the way we work. And it significantly reduced the workflow for people in the office.
Yeah.
And the drivers or the contractors are now having direct communication or direct links to see where that vehicle is.
And just on that note, so the app, that, as we all know, it tracks your phone and it will track the driver. In terms of sort of comparison to tracking companies out there, tracking is quite expensive usually, right?
Yes. Yeah. We as a company, we have two sets of tracking, but for the customers of Haulage Exchange, the actual tracking is more than sufficient. The only reason why we have our own is because obviously we have hours, working time directive hours that we have to make sure we do.
Tachographs,
making sure that drivers actually are having breaks when they need to have their breaks, and that gives us a lot more reports. But the package that you've got and the way that it works is brilliant. The fact that you can upload pictures of the PODs within 30 seconds is great. And I also like the fact that you can have photographs of goods being loaded, which really gives us and our customers a lot of confidence to what we're doing.
I suppose it cuts out all that. What happened to this? Was that in your care? And was there that? I suppose it just alleviates all of that. This was in my care. The goods were perfect. Collection and delivery.
Well, there's always nervousness when you're giving somebody else business that you have been entrusted with from a customer's point of view, and to have a little bit more background information, to have that little bit of confidence that people are professional drivers, and we are representing the contractors. It goes so far.
Now I've got a question for you, Rhys, because I get this a lot, and I'm sure our viewers will want this one answered. I mean, when you first joined, did you think it was expensive?
I'll say yes. I think first time you look and you do think it's quite a price, but then you do see what you get for the money.
Okay. And then when you say get for the money, I mean, what did you get?
Well, when we started off with a zero balance, and we started doing £5,000 a month, up to £10,000 a month. But as that grows and grows...
So, like, within your first few weeks, you've already made your money back?
Oh, absolutely. But when you realise that we're running the entire company based on Haulage Exchange, this isn't just a backload. This is a load going out and then every load thereafter.
So, what would you... If that's the case, then I mean, I know this, I've seen this, but you being an actual user of the site, I mean, we tell clients that actually 70% of loads are urgent hotshot loads. So, it's not a backload site.
No. And for me, there is no such thing as a backload. And the greatest customers we have will actually state. So if you're saying pick it up in 2 or 3 days, you know it's going to be a competitive price because that's what the clients are requesting. If it says pick it up in the next half an hour to an hour, you know that's going to be a time critical job, and you price accordingly.
And then, I mean, there's other sites out there, Rhys. I mean, why did you choose Haulage Exchange? I mean, there's free and cheap sites out there. There's the free and cheap ones, which are nothing wrong with them.
But in my opinion, you're dealing with professionals, and you build up your market. So, for example, when I pick up a customer, that customer might only give me a £300 job. But the potential of that customer could be 100 times more than that. So you have to build up your own reputations, and the more you do with somebody, the more the work becomes easier, becomes simpler, and you build up your own relationships. One of the difficulties that you find with a lot of the other firms out there, which I would say are your competition, is they don't do half of the background research into the clients that are on their site, and that is a real concern.
And then, have you ever Did you ever try the free and cheap sites in the past?
Yeah, we've dabbled, but dabbling is probably the best that we could.
Yeah, I think free and cheap's not always good.
No.
And it gets to a point where you get what you pay for.
I couldn't agree more. And the fact that you have such great customers out there that you can work with on every single job.
Mm.
I'm afraid I can't name names.
Yeah.
We have had several companies that start off at £200-300, and they'll do £5,000-15,000 a month with us now.
With you directly?
Yeah, easily. But it's about building up those relationships.
Yes.
And even though you take one job off Haulage Exchange, you continue to use Haulage Exchange as that benchmark for each job, because they have that ability to see where the driver is, to see that the systems are in place, but also have the confidence to know, well, we've done lots of jobs with them before. We know they won't let us down.
So you've got that trust in the relationship. They've left you the feedback, and now they're just calling and booking with you directly.
Correct.
And then just talk to me a little bit more about your journey, Rhys. I mean, so you started with 11 years ago, you had 2 7.5s, and you got into Haulage Exchange, and obviously you're happy, you're building contacts, winning loads, and it sounds like the business was growing. When did you decide to make that step then? I mean, what was it in HX that gave you the confidence to say, right, I'm going to get truck number 3, truck number 4, and eventually into where we are now, truck number 18?
18 now. Wow. 18. I think at the moment we actually have 19 on the road as of today. It allows you the confidence to invest, and when you have 2 lorries and you can see that the site has X amount of jobs on there, you can start planning and saying, okay, well, let's model and say, what if I went up to 4? Oh. So when we started with 2,
yes,
we went from 2 to 4, 4 to 6.
I see.
6 to 12.
So you went up in 2s, yeah.
Then when we went up to 12 vehicles, we then ended up saying, what would the product portfolio work with 18 tons as well as 7.5? Okay. So we decided to reinvest, remodel. Let's see how it works with 18 tonners. And you can take a little bit more of
Just to stop you there, before you jumped into the 18-ton market,
yes,
was you able to see the market and the loads and stuff going on with 18 tonners before you made that move?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And we could identify the customers.
Yes.
We'd already built up market research into which customers we wanted to work with.
I'll assume some of them are even telling you, Rhys, if you had an 18-tonner,
correct,
we'd be giving you this, right?
Absolutely right. And because of that, we were able to identify and determine a relatively good balance. So we had confidence doing it.
Yes.
And if not everything works, because not everything in business will work the way that you would plan it, actually we had enough confidence in the backup systems through Haulage Exchange that, okay, maybe 2 or 3 of my best customers won't give me 18-ton work, but we knew others would.
Yeah.
And that's how we are today.
And then, you started yourself and just yourself with from ground zero.
Yes.
No, I mean, what's how does the staff and employees look like now?
Well, we started off with me in the office and 2 drivers on the road, then it went to 4. We went up to 6, and I decided to expand to the 12. Yeah. And at that point, I decided to take on a great member of staff called Robin, who does a lot of my internal working.
Shout out to Robin.
And then from there, we said, actually, why stop here? Because the synergies, the methodology, it works.
Yes.
And there is a strange irony that the more you take, the less work you have to do within CX. So now we've got it linked in with Xero.
So Xero, you being your accounting software?
Our accounting software.
And how does that work?
When we initially joined Haulage Exchange, we were having to manually input every single invoice. We're now doing 300-400 invoices a month.
Oh, wow.
And all we have to do is press one button on the Smart Pay.
Smart Pay, that's it, yeah.
On Smart Pay, and it actually does the whole process for us. So the entire system is just flawless, and it just works through the account.
Would it be safe to say before invoicing was probably taking admin time of maybe an hour or 2?
Well, I estimated it was actually 3 days' work.
Wow.
And it got that heavy that we said, actually, we need a new solution for this. And once we were invested with Smart Pay, we were able to actually get the systems much smoother.
So, and just so I'm clear, so just for the viewers at home, Smart Pay enables load takers and posters just to work seamlessly with each other with existing accounting software like Sage, QuickBooks, or Xero. So let's say, for example, I owed Rhys 10 invoices, each at £500 each. And let's just say, for example, I owed him £5,000. SmartPay will allow just to pay all those invoices all in once, click of a button, rather than pay this invoice, pay that invoice, pay that invoice, which could take 4 or 5 minutes each. It's just condensed into...
It's speed, it's efficiency, and it's process, which is everything you want. Everything you want as a whole.
So the financial team must be singing your praises once you got that.
Well, to be
3
fair,
days into...
to be fair, if I actually told you that until a month ago I was doing all the finance work as well, I had no financial employees working for me. I had a credit controller, but actually all the finances through the company I managed myself, which just is another support to show how good Haulage Exchange is if you use it correctly.
So you can literally just manage it from yourself, from your mobile and your apps. And
absolutely, everything's downloaded. The invoices are downloaded. Very simple, very clear. You know, even when you look at how many negative or poor payers you have, the numbers are so insignificantly small because the vast majority of your clients actually are looking for the long-term relationships.
Yes, yeah,
and it works brilliantly.
And going forward, I mean, what's your plans for the future, Rhys? I mean, we're at 19 now. I mean, are we gonna step into the world of Arctics and go bigger and better? Or
well, it's a very
nice niche market. I mean, you've got a very nice niche market you've developed from the 7.5 to 18s, and you seem to have mastered it well and picked up lots of customers.
Absolutely. And the great beauty is we have so many different options of what we can actually do. We could potentially go into the market locally and actually utilize some of the other companies on Haulage Exchange and create our own local business setup.
Oh, okay. Is that like giving work and maybe even some bits of work away here and there?
Absolutely, because we know the systems work, we know the clients are good, and it's not something we've ever done before. We could potentially take on another set of 6 or 8 more lorries. But again, the systems that Haulage Exchange create, I'm confident that we could do that without too much of an issue.
Excellent. And so overall wise, it's just been a sort of beneficial for the business, would you say?
Oh, I don't think our company would be anywhere near where it was today without Haulage Exchange.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
It's been great.
No, it really makes my day when I hear stuff like that, because for us, we're very passionate about the industry, and you're one of many successful customers, but it's just nice to actually hear it back from yourselves to say, yes, it's done it. But we see the numbers behind the scenes. We see all the data. But when you actually have customers saying to you, yeah, look, this is where I was, this is where I am now, it's a true testament to the industry.
Absolutely. And when you realise the opportunity that Haulage Exchange gives you, I don't know many companies that wouldn't benefit from Haulage Exchange. The big thing you have to be is committed to it. And if you're looking for one load from Sheffield to come back to Bicester, it's very hard to do. But if you're looking for several loads, for several things, and you actually want to invest your time in it, it works flawlessly. And also look at the customers that you're taking work from. Make sure that they're actually giving you all the information. Make sure that you can meet the deadlines and the criteria that's being set by the client. Do that. Do you have a winning business?
And then would you say, like with yourselves, I mean, if you had to start all over again, let's say you decided to start all over again and then you wanted just a brand new setup, I mean, what would your advice be to anyone starting who's got their truck or about to get their truck, they've got their O license, they're looking for work. Now, they either join, there's obviously the Amazons and a few others and so on. What would your advice be to them?
Well, without a doubt, I feel that Haulage Exchange is a significant asset to most businesses. There's very few that I would recommend don't join, because even if you've only got a relatively small amount of spare capacity, you still have spare capacity that you can utilise from the CX.
So just on that note, you mentioned spare capacity. Now, obviously, I've been here a while, and sometimes we'll speak to hauliers and we'll get that, I'm on a paid round trip. Yeah, I'm on a paid round trip. What's what's your message to the people that say I want a paid round trip?
Yeah, but you can still earn a lot more. And that is effectively free money. And it's still lowering the CO2 emissions because someone's still going to have to do that job in another vehicle. So it may as well be you.
Well, if you can take away your fuel bill for the month, I mean, that's just clean profit, right?
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If I said there's no fuel bill for you this month, that's just, that's just 10 grand into the account, right? Or whatever it may be.
Completely right. Completely right. And the figures that you mentioned are actually, they're not unrealistic. I have constantly looked at your sites to make sure that everything you say is correct, and it absolutely is.
Would you say the average rates that we see on the system, do they sort of match or sometimes match your expectations on what you've achieved?
Yeah, you can see the direct correlation to how much we earn and how much you believe you're selling the jobs for.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if you're doing smaller jobs, then generally you get paid more per mile. You know that you're going to be waiting half an hour for
the
a
little
load.
short hauls, yeah. Sometimes they can be gold nuggets, though, right?
Absolutely
Right place, right time, little short haul.
3 of those a day, and you're doing well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. If you can do 3 of them a day, even at
Half
$2.50 each, it's been a decent day.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then, in terms of building contacts nationwide, I mean, what's that done for you?
The big thing is to get the in, and the big thing that you want to do, go for the first job. Do not hand the customers because they don't like it. But once you've done the job, just make sure that they know you're there. You're there. Make sure that you keep in contact, not regularly, but they will remember you because they'll know that if you've done one job for them, there's no reason why you can't do 10.
Yes.
And we get to the stage now, we're very privileged because of my staff, that now they phone us and they'll say, we got 5 jobs. Which ones do you want? And
so this is before it even goes on the platform?
Absolutely correct.
So it's like a direct booking to yourselves. Correct. You want first choice, first dibs.
Yep.
And if it's a no from you, we'll go to the... Okay.
Yeah. And they'll still put it through the CX.
Yes, directly through the...
because they like the extra benefits and resource that this Haulage Exchange gives you. So they can still track the vehicles, they know when you're on site. But the simple fact is, they know that if they outsource 5 to me, that's 5 that they don't have to look for other hauliers. And that's really where you want to be.
Yeah. If you can have that direct relationship and then they just book you directly, you're building the contacts and everything. Obviously, good drivers, good communication, that all follows.
Absolutely right.
And then I like to mention you've been doing quite a lot of work with obviously the powers that be in the world of Parliament and RHA, but you've been supporting a lot about the freight crime in the industry in terms of protecting the hauliers and stuff, which is very, very commendable, I have to say. And definitely like to give you shout outs. I think I saw you in the Parliament in sort of shouting our cause for the hauliers out there. But I don't think we get enough recognition in the haulage, do we? I think we need more recognition in the industry. We don't get enough.
Couldn't agree with you anymore. When you realise that the driver is effectively like an aeroplane pilot, and you look at the disparity between them, even look at train drivers, they're treated with so much more respect and credibility. Where you're sending a driver out, you're expecting them to do best part of 100,000 miles a year. These guys, they need decent service, they need healthcare, they need to make sure that they know that they are protected and they are looked after. And I don't think there's enough of that goes on in the industry at the moment. So hopefully I can do my small piece and try and change some of the industry to make it better.
And it's very commendable you're doing it, because I think that's a voice that speaks volume, because I think within the haulage community, everybody feels it. But sometimes we're not all as... or have time to embrace it and engage with our thoughts. So it's really good to see you out there, sort of picking up the hauliers, or trying to protect us all. Because there is a lot out there that we're probably not getting enough credit for, in my personal opinion. Now, if I say to you, Rhys, you want to start, I'm brand new to haulage. I've got no work whatsoever. I mean, you mentioned briefly before that 90+% of all your work in the last 11 years has actually come solely off Haulage Exchange.
Absolutely right. And when we started, we were doing a job for one local haulier to us, and they said, yes, we have overspill of work. We'd like to work together with you. And they helped me set up.
But then one question, Rhys, why didn't, after 1 or 2 years, you could have left and you've got a direct connection already?
You do, but then the whole intention of a business, the hope is that you can expand. So there's no reason for me to leave because I can still continue.
Mhm.
The other thing you find is that one haulier will be busy for 2 months. Then their work will drop off.
Yes,
Another
yeah.
haulier, you'll take that place. So we will do 10, 15, 20,000 pounds with one haulier. 3 months later, their business model's changed, their customers have changed. So you need the next flow.
To adapt, yeah.
Yeah, and we have a nice consistent flow. We have hundreds and hundreds of repeat users
Mhm.
that will continually come back to us. And we get to a situation now where if there is a little bit of money involved in the job, they'd rather pay us a slightly higher rate because they know what they're getting. They know the feedback's good.
So it's about the quality of the service and who's doing the job. It's
Correct.
not about the cheapest price possible.
No. And most hauliers out there, they want a good price, but it's not about cheap. It's about quality. It's about professionalism.
Who's the closest?
Correct.
How urgent is the job? So I think I'd say a good vast majority of loads on the Haulage Exchange, even if you look on the website, there's a lot of what we call ASAP jobs, right? As soon as possible.
Yes.
You know, some term it time critical, last minute, but urgent's urgent. I think we all know when ASAP, that transport manager's in trouble, he needs it sorted, right?
Yeah. And what we do, because it's in HGV, we're measured by O licenses, we may well phone the customer and say, look, this journey, we don't think it can be done in a day. Are you wanting same day delivery or do you want next day delivery? And if you clarify little things like that, the customer will work with you.
Yeah.
And often they'll say, put your price down and obviously tell us when you can collect and when you can deliver.
So they've almost work around you a little bit if you can maneuver. So yeah, again, obviously.
And they can go back to their clients and say, look, we've had these options. Does this work for you? So they may pay a premium for day one. They may pay a slightly reduced price for day two. But then you've given them the opportunity and the options.
Yes. And I think that's what it's about, right? Balancing.
Yeah.
Being able to balance, being able to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Maneuverable or adaptable in the situations. And so, Rhys, if you was to name, if I said to you, hey, Rhys, name me, I don't know, the three things that you love about the Exchange above anything else. Is there anything that comes to the top of your mind? Anything that you feel?
The biggest thing for me is the honesty.
Yes.
From the minute that you're taking a job on. So when you see it, the client or the contractor will put down collection points, they'll put down the delivery points, they'll put the weights potentially. So you have a good understanding of what is required for that job. From that moment on, the honesty and the integrity goes through the entire job.
Yes.
And we have clients, we very often phone up and say, the weight that you've put on will not go on that vehicle. And a lot of them are very grateful because if you don't have a vehicle like a 7.5 ton or an 18 ton, you may think that it carries 7.5 ton and it doesn't. And the whole principle of the industry is to work together. Yeah. And we all want the same thing, which is to satisfy the clients and to make a little bit of money in the meantime.
That's it. Yeah.
If we can do that, everybody's happy.
And then is there anything in specifically that springs to mind in terms of features of the site at all? Or is there anything that Robin's mentioned to you that she particularly likes about the system?
Speed in the process, is absolutely critical. We want to quote the job.
Yes.
So from the point of execution of actually quoting for that job to the point of invoicing it, we want it to be as slimline and as process-driven as it humanly can be. This reduces my labour power, so I can employ less people to do more work and actually make more profit.
So a bit more efficiency. And
far more efficiency. Yeah.
You've accomplished quite a lot. In the last decade, 11 years, you've built it from the ground up, literally from nothing to exactly where you are now. What's the plans for the next 6 to 12 months?
Well, the great benefit is we can choose whichever we want to do. We can expand the business, especially with the new systems coming in through SmartPay.
Yeah.
We can stay where we are, or we could even look for our own customers and outsource a lot more work on Haulage Exchange. But it's so nice that you have that many abilities and that many different options available to you.
No, and I think either way you turn, I think you'll be a success at it. You've been amazing what you've done, accomplished so far. And on that note, I mean, look, thank you, Rhys. It's been a real pleasure to hear your story, where you've come from to where you are now, what you've achieved in all this time, and thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing the story with us and our viewers. And
It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you.
and I'm sure some of our new members, when they join, they might hit you up once they've joined and say, "Hey, Rhys."
Of course, we need a 7.5 tonne.
We need a 7.5 tonne, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks again, Rhys. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Thank
much.
you. Take care.
Cheers.